Hello and welcome to Cognos Tm1 30-day course schedule. In this 30-day course schedule, we're going to see two major aspects. One is as per the Tm1 developer perspective, and the other one is Tm1 end user perspective. Before we go into it, we'll see what is our course schedule. Our course schedule is divided into 4-5 different parts. One is we give the training classes, the other one is the project demo, we give a small sample project, the other one is the project explanation. On top of it, the requirements understanding, what exactly the requirement asks you to do, and various interview questions as well. Before we jump into all these things, let's go through the 30-day schedule. In this 30-day schedule, we have examined the TM1 components aspect. In this TM1 components aspect, you will understand what is a TM1 and how it enables the financial performance management system, and besides to take you more into the system, this is mainly widely used in BFSI projects, which is Banking Financial Service Industries project. So taking that into the consideration, we are giving you the understanding of the profit loss and the balance sheet statements as well. And again, we're going to take you into the TM1 user community and how many companies have implemented the TM1 and what are the benefits they are having by using TM1. And on top of it, we're going to go through the introduction to data warehousing, introduction to IBM Cognos Tm1, to describe the Tm1 architecture, Tm1 components, and Tm1 users and interfaces and clients. And before that, while doing that, we'll again go into the discussion of installing the TM1 on your machine, and we'll see how it goes through and what are the prerequisites to be done, and how do you configure TM1 on your machine. Definitely it's a simple thing, and not to worry about it, because it takes a matter of 1-2 hours for installation, unless like your ICP installations in the previous ancient times, or like in your IBM server installations. And again, we're going to see the creation of the TM1 servers. How can we create, and how do we import the files, and how do we configure them, and how do we log into the server, and how do we browse sample data, or else how do we create our own reporting servers for various cubes. And that's how we're going to see until day 6. In between, we're going to give the training sessions as well, as we mentioned before itself over here. The training classes will be scheduled in between the course, so that you can raise the questions while your training is going on, and you'll have an hands-on experience on how to build a cube and how to install a TM1 server and what exactly is going through the system. And again, now we're going to see about building cubes after the training day 8. In this building cubes, we're going to have the dimensions creation, and the cube editing the dimensions, setting up the weights for the dimensions to exclude the consolidation levels, and creating the cubes which are part of the dimensions. After the dimensions, you go for the cubes, so that you can have a collective of dimensions set up in the one cube. And how do you construct a cube, creating the pick list from the cube, and discussing about the virtual cubes, which are nothing but your views, so that each and every user can have their own views and they can look into the system. So until then, we will end up with day 9, so that you can have hands-on experience by creating the dimensions, by creating the cubes, which is more important up to that extent. From later on, we're going to go with Turbo Integrator, which is the heart and soul of the TM1 system, because it's got an inbuilt ETL tool which is called as a Turbo Integrator. What exactly is a Turbo Integrator, we'll see from day 11. And how do we create dimensions using a Turbo Integrator, creating cubes using Turbo Integrator, and using the attributes. There are various number of attributes for creating Turbo Integrator dimensions and cubes, and various approaches as well, or loading the data from one system to another system, and creating a process. Again, as I said, the loading data from one system to another system, and creating the process to load the data from one cube into another cube, or creating a process to delete the data from the cube and updating the model again. There are various models which we have to discuss again, and still then we'll end up with day 12. After that, we're going to give one more training session, which is very important at this point of time, for you to understand what is a dimension, what is a cube, how do you create a dimension, how do you create a cube, and how do you create a dimension and a cube through your Turbo Integrator process again. As I said, one can be done, this TM1 allows you to do manually and it allows you to do automatically while the process is running on. So which is run through turbo integrator. We'll see all those things by end of day 13. After day 13, the soul of the, as I said before, before day 13 it's an heart of the TM1, and after day 13 it's a soul of the TM1. Here we're going to discuss about the business rules. We can create our own business rules to import the data, to export the data, and to optimize rules and performance again, and how do we put into the worksheets is all discussed about here in this here. And how do we construct the rules for elements and consolidations is more important, which is a hard, which is very important topic in this business rules. And on day 15 and 16 we're going to discuss about the skip, check and feeders, which is nothing but the optimizing the rule performances, which is more important. And how do you transfer the data into your model using the scripts, and adding the subset to your dimensions is more important again here, and using logic in scripts and constructing chores. Chores are nothing but scheduling the activity whenever you want one process to be loaded automatically without your intervention. You will schedule it and you will make sure that that can be done over there. And besides, we're going to go into the replication, which is more important. Like what is the process of replication and how do you handle the replication, and scheduling the replications is nothing but you're handling your chores concept again here. But replication is like copying the data from one system, one server into another server, and copying from one cube into another cube and syncing up the data. As I said, most of the projects are used in BFSI domain. So the main database like your Aggresso or your SQL database or your TM1 cubes again I would say, and or else you can have your SAP info cubes, which are the main source of the data into TM1. So the source is mapped into TM1, and in TM1 we're going to take that from there into the analysis of the cubes by slicing and dicing concept. With that approach, we're going to copy, or we're going to make sure that the data is replicated between P&L cube to balance sheet cube for a couple of segments. We're going to see all those things, and I'm going to take you, I'll take you through the financial statements. What is a balance sheet statement, and what are the net assets, and what are these net assets and current liabilities. And besides, we have a profit loss statement again, which we need to discuss more about it. That's nothing but a revenue. If you are a financial guy, you'll get to know immediately. What else? We'll train you, and we'll make sure that you are up to that extent. And besides that, most of the TM1 cubes or TM1 implemented companies use this for cash flow in BFSI domain, which is like your to know your salaries, or to know your total receipts and total payments, and closing WIPs, opening WIPs, and all this stuff. Okay, fine. These are the financial statements which we're going to discuss about later on. And let's come back to our course schedule. As I said, we're going to do that until day 17. From day 19 onwards, we're going to do the drill assignment tool, like the drill assignment tool, my bad. We're going to discuss about how do we drill the data from one level to another level, which are called as level 0 to level 1, level 1 to level 2. These are all the drilling paths which we have in TM1, where we can drill the data and we can go up to the root level and we can identify where the data is sitting exactly, inputted by end user. So that can be seen in customizing the drill paths on day 19. Besides, another very important concept which we're going to discuss is converting the currencies. In this converting the currencies, we'll have one currency cube where we'll discuss about the currency challenges, which is called as a currency dimension, and currency cubes like local currency, reporting currency, local plus reporting currency, these kind of applications. For that, we need to have some rules again. So for example, if you take Norway is using a local currency NOR, fine. And if you go into it deeply, it reports to, Norway is reporting to Central Europe. So Central Europe has got the reporting currency as euros. So we internally convert the values from reported in local currency to reporting currency by using a rule which can be created through currency conversion, and we'll assign it to that reporting currency. So at the end, when the board of directors or when the IFRS statement is prepared at the end, will see the values in reporting currency, but whereas the local currency is already reported there, and they themselves they can see the values in local currency in Norway level. For example, I have given you that. And besides this, we're gonna take you through the security as well. Security on creating the users, groups, and different types of access, admin access, and all that stuff, and assigning the users and groups to one particular level. As I said, for example, if you take Norway has got an option to enter the values at one particular level in cash flow cube. For example, they have at total payments and total receipts. They can book their numbers in that, and again we're gonna have the assignment of roles to assignment of users and groups to this particular group, where they can even enter the values at P&L and balance sheet level for their own country. For example, if you take Norway user can enter the values of balance sheet, P&L, and cash flow, and again he even can enter the Bulgaria numbers if he is eligible to enter. Such kind of the group assignment is also given, and they can have their own restriction access to that particular cubes and particular levels. So that can be done until day 21. So up to here we'll go through that entire stuff, and from there onwards you'll get a training program. In that training program you'll see various aspects of the security, currency conversions, and drill paths, which is more important and which will be helpful for you in implementing in any BFSI project up to here. Fine. Next, going on to data exploration. How do you what exactly is a data cube, and viewing the data in the cube and calculating a view or arranging dimensions is more important. It is like an end user concept. These are not an end user concepts, and this will help you a lot in navigating the user in the support or in the support project. For example, if you take a spreadsheet analysis statement, which we are going to discuss on day 24, it will allow you to create, or it will allow you to take you through that snapshot. For example, if you are looking into P&L statement, that will allow you to make sure that these and all components, these and all are level at monthly wise, weekly wise, and they can consolidate at both month wise, week wise, and at year level and quarter level. Such can be done through an Excel component, and we'll prepare an Excel statement and we'll give it to the users as through input sheet and through reporting sheet. So if the user is eligible to enter the value at input sheet, then he can enter the values for that country, for that dimension, and for that values, a profit and loss or balance sheet in input sheet. If he wants to view the data in a board reporting and the reporting analysis or slicing and dicing, which we already mentioned in the past, he can go through the reporting values. For that, we have another 2 more functions. Mainly, these slicing and dicing in Excel sheets or in the exploration of spreadsheet analysis is done through only two formulas mainly. One is DBRW, which makes you to which allows you to write and read through your input sheet, and the other one is DBR, which allows only to read, which will be used in your reporting sheets. That is how it works until here. Again, going into the other aspect of monitoring the server performance, user TM1 log files, dynamically monitoring the TM1 threads and all can be viewed over here, which is called as TM1 top. We'll configure the TM1 top while we are going through the classes, and how do we connect and disconnect the users from TM1 server. In an instance, in one of my projects which we have implemented for one country, where we had 657 users, where most of them work in US timings, and all of them work from morning 8 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock, and most of them they connect to these servers, and they input the data. At that time, the analysis is done in such a way that how many number of users are connected in one particular second, and how many are been there in the system for 1 hour. So for that, we have made a spreadsheet analysis, and we have analyzed that the more number of servers or the more number of RAM memory is important to that aspect, and we have given a best approach to increase the speed of the system. So in that way, while doing that process, again we have gone through this connecting and disconnecting the users and shutting down the remote TM1 servers, the virtual servers, and all that stuff. So finally, which is not the least, again we'll go through the TM1 best practices again. In this TM1 best practices, we'll see the functionality, maintainability, and performance, which are the three main important topics which we are going to discuss on day 26. Later on, we'll discuss about, as I said in the first, we'll discuss about the project demo. We'll give a project demo, and from there we'll take you through the project explanation, and we'll give you the we'll make you to understand the requirements of the project again, and at the end of the class we'll give you the interview questions if you are very serious about going through an interview and getting a project in any company. That is how it's going to be, and this is a 30-day course schedule which will help you to understand what is TM1, what it benefits from for my career, and how I'm going to see in future with TM1. Fine, up to here fair enough, I guess. Let's jump into the TM1 introduction, and before I jump into TM1 introduction, I would like to give you my name is Ramesh Kumar, and you can shoot me an email to this email address, and you can check for any questions even after you are out of the project, or even if you are out of the training schedules which we are going to give, and I'll be able to help you out in any ways. Fine. Let's go into TM1 introduction. Before I go or jump into TM1 introduction, I'm going to give you a couple of documents which will help you or which will benefit you to check into the system. Okay, these are all the documents. For example, API guide, application programming interface guide, an executive viewer, new features guide, a reference guide, turbo integrator. What is a turbo integrator again here? And a user guide, workflow administrator, developers guide, TM1 rules, understanding balance sheet and P&L, TM1, as I said, TM1 top configuration settings also document will be shared to you, and TM1 architecture, and this and all will be shared across to you who are taking the class with me. And going to the next step, we're going to discuss about what is TM1 and what exactly TM1 wants you to do and how it will benefit your career. So we understood and we spoke about it. If a TM1 is installed on your machine, what it makes you to do, it allows you to analyze the report, or it allows you to do analysis, perform the analysis, and give you the best output, so that it will make sure that it will ensure that the approach is made perfect up to 95 or 99%, so that the fast, real-time performance is maintained, and scalability for large data volumes is also given there, and non-technical user-centric design is also given there. Okay, these are all the unique value propositions which are discussed in this concept. And going further, we have an Excel-based approach. As I said, we'll give you an Excel with the other two formulas, DBR and DBRW. We'll discuss those formulas on Excel-based approach to application development, which is more important. Fine. Coming to TM1, let's talk about what is TM1. TM1 is used to analyze the multi-dimensional data. This is all about the multi-dimensional data we have here. For example, if we take, I have student data, let's talk about student number, student name, next student address, student date of birth, for instance. So these are all the dimensions which we have in one particular student record. So this record is maintained in such way. This is an initial requirement. If you go on, we can have student marks or class, for example, and which class is studying, and student marks subject wise. You can take subject wise, subject 1, subject 2, blah blah blah. You can go down like that. So for example, and at the end you can have is aggregation you can have, and the rank and all you can give. So this is how it is maintained. So this is nothing but a multi-dimensionality. You can have the structure. For example, the analysis, if the student analysis needs to be done, you will take student data from here, you will take the student data from here, and you wanted to compare that with student number with student marks, and student, if I say student marks, The below information which you're going to skim down is student subject 1, subject 2, aggregation and rank. These and all will be taken and will be brought down as a child ones into this, and you can do analysis part here. This all can be done through TM1 web, TM1 concepts. Fine, let's go into the benefits of TM1. Okay, fine, let's go into benefits. Let's go into this. Okay, here, as I said, this is to analysis the multi-dimensional data, which is more important here. Second thing, TM1 is based on online analytical processing, which are called as OLAP tool, which we're gonna talk about it again. So this is an online analytical process. It gives you, in the online system itself, it gives you a chance to do analysis to give the better results and to project more in the future, like your budgeting, forecasting, and the promotion of your numbers through your marketing skills and marketing numbers again. Okay, what is an OLAP tool here? It is a category of a software tool that provides the analysis of data stored in the database. For example, if you do a time analysis and time series and trend analysis views, you will get the approach of OLAP, which is more important here. Now we'll see the definition of TM1. TM1 combines a powerful multi-dimensional database engine. For example, you have Microsoft Excel add-in, which I'm talking about. Excel add-in we have here, and you have Server Explorer front-end, Web Front, and Turbo Integrator, which we have already discussed about it. Okay, and let's talk about TI again. TI is to extract, transform, and load, which is nothing but your ETL tool. Extract, transform, and load. This is an inbuilt system, inbuilt thing which you have in your TM1 system itself. This is, for example, this is the TM1 architect. You have TM1 here, and you have the local server here. You have applications, cubes, dimensions, replications, process, and all. And this process itself has got TI process. These are nothing but the TI process. It opens the TI. For example, for some reason I'm not able to open now. I'll check it out. Yeah, we have it here. Turbo Integrator, as I said, and we have the local server here, and this is the process name. So we load the data and we analyze the data either by your data source ODBC, text, or ODBO. ODBO, if I say ODBO, we can have through cube, or we can have through dimensions and MDX query and all. If you are having through IBM Cognos Tm1, again, as I said in the previous in early of my presentation, that it can be loaded through TM1 cubes and views again. That can be done here, or else you can load through an IBM Cognos package, which we will see later on. But mainly we are going to discuss in this scenario or in this training session about ODBC and text and IBM TM1 cubes and views. Okay, this is the environment of TI, and not required now. We have here Server Explorer. This is called the TM1 architect. Okay, and let's talk about the TM1 architecture again. The TM1 application tier, TM1 server, TM1 admin server, TM1 tools. This is the TM1 admin server we have here. Okay, this is the TM1 admin server. It comes and sits over here. Yes, this is TM1 admin server. Fine. Web application tier. Web application tier is opened through TM1 localhost, TM1 web. Okay, we'll check it out. I'll for some reason it's not working now, but I'll check it out and I'll find out that we'll fix that issue again. So we have application gateway, TM1 application server, TM1 web, console, operations console, and on top of this is definitely a client tier, client and server architecture system. We have TM1 client tier, TM1 perspectives, Cognos Insight, TM1 APIs, TM performance modular. Okay, before we start, I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna tell you that TM1, which we're gonna give you the training, is based on 10.1. We have earlier TM1 9.4, 8.1, 8.9 versions and all, and now the latest version is 10.1, and we are providing you the training on 10.1 version. Okay, fine. Okay, now let's go into TM1 server. When I say about TM1 server, what is a TM1 server? TM1 remote server provides you to access the shared data and objects in your organization. That is called TM1 server. And let's talk about TM1 perspectives here, which we have here, which are more important. TM1 server, TM1 perspectives. Tm1 perspectives. In this Tm1 perspectives is a client application provides you or lets you to create and manage, access and edit Tm1 databases residing on a local or remote server. That can be done through Tm1 application and Tm1 access. Okay, we're gonna see how we have Tm1 here. Tm1, as I said, Tm1 perspectives. This is Tm1 perspectives. We are opening that and we have to click on enable macros, and we have a Tm1 add. We'll see a Tm1 add in here. It opens automatically. Okay, yeah, as I said, Tm1. Okay, let's connect to Tm1. Okay, admin. There is no password for that. Admin is connected, and now we're gonna see the explorer. We're gonna explore it. Okay, we're gonna explore. If we have any applications, we can explore here itself. We can explore here itself. Okay, this is it. T-Cube viewer. This is Tm1 perspectives, and it can be opened through Excel. The other one is Tm1 architect. Tm1 architect we can open through Tm1 architect, and the other one is Tm1 web architecture. So definitely Tm1 can be opened through three ways. One is perspectives, the other one is Tm1 architect, the other one is Tm1 web. The same pages, the same application will be opened over there. Okay, most of the users will have access to Tm1 web. Okay, and now we're gonna close this and close this and close. Let's since we are here, we'll talk about it immediately over here. We have opened the PNL cube from perspectives. Okay, PNL cube, we have opened the PNL cube, and in this PNL cube, this is the view. There are various number. There should be various number of views, or there is only a single view here, and all the dimensions are sitting here. We'll talk about, not to worry about it now. We'll talk about the dimensions and the cubes and all. Just for a glance, I'm taking you through that stuff here now. So in this cube viewer, we have local. Cube viewer is local. Local is nothing but your local server, and PNL cube, and this is the default view. As I said, we can skim through the default view and we can identify it. Okay. Now, if we recalculate this, we'll see the values being populated in the sample server. Okay, if you see, these values are coming from marketing. Where exactly in marketing? In advertising and sales promotion. Okay, this is how you wanna put it across. From here itself, you can have the facility of sandbox. We'll talk about the sandbox, which is an end user concept, and it will give you the analysis to do internally. For example, if I give you access to sandbox, you can test the figures here itself by checking the feeders, or by tracing the calculation, or by spreading the data. For example, if you say equal spread, if I say equal spread by 10% or 20%, okay, from replace, it's going to replace. The cells have been failed. For example, for some reason it's got failed, but we'll check it out in the future. Okay, I'll take you through that. And this is how we're going to suppress the zeros, and then we're going to recalculate, so there are no zeros. This is a cube view again, and is auto recalculation, and we can populate this. We can take a snapshot and we can take a slice. Okay, I'll give you the difference between a slice and a snapshot. Snapshot which comes without the formulas, and slice which comes with the formulas. There are formulas behind this, and that's the reason we are able to see the values. If you see, as I said, DBRW, which allows you to read and write the values into the system. Since we have opened Tm1 perspectives, you are able to see DBRW values over here through snapshot. And if you open through slice, that was through slice, and this is through snapshot. If I open through slice, you're not able to see any of the formulas behind that sheet. But in the various in the slice, you can see here, but in the snapshot, you are not able to see. In the snapshot, you are not able to see the formulas. You can see only the numbers, only the values, where it will help you to provide this to your client, and they can do benefits out of it. But if your client is much more intelligent to check and to view the values immediately on the live figures, on the live system, or through while they're going through a board reporting, they can update and they can find out, and they can check it out. See, for example, if you have here connect and disconnect, and they can recalculate here itself if there are any latest figures updated in the system. That we're gonna see later on. Okay, this is what I'm talking about in Tm1 perspectives, Tm1 architect, and Tm1 web. Okay, these are three main things. Web application architecture. In web application architecture, we have got all these things. and the clientele perspectives. Cognos Insight, which we're going to discuss about it very clearly. Cognos Insight will give you lots of benefits, and it will make you to aware what is happening in the TM1 web itself. You can do the slicing and dicing in the TM1 web itself, then and there itself on Cognos Insight. I'll take you through that as well. Okay, and before we enter into TM1 aspects, I want to tell you I've got like more than 5.5 years of experience in TM1 alone. 5.5 years of experience, you believe me. I worked in US, I worked in India, and I have been through various BFSA projects and bidding projects in TM1 alone. Okay, fine. Let's go through these slides. Introduction to Cognos Tm1. Cognos Tm1. It gives you the analysis and business optimization capabilities across Cognos product family. Tm1 is used for analysis, whereas your Cognos BI will give the reporting. So that is the main difference between analysis and reporting and the tools here. So these and all are coming from the same family, Cognos, IBM Cognos. Before IBM bought Cognos Tm1, it was with Applix. They have released with 7 version 8, 8.4, and they went up to it, and then IBM has bought Applix, and it has become IBM Cognos Applix Tm1 sometime back, and later on they have changed the name and they have kept it as IBM Cognos Tm1. There is no abbreviation for TM1. Most of them they call it as Table Manager 1, but that is definitely wrong. They call it as TM1. Okay, you're gonna take this as a granted thing. Fine. As I said, we have unique value propositions such as very fast real-time performance, scalability for large data volumes, non-technical user-centric design, and Excel-based approach to application development. This is all it's going to be. It is deployable in a standalone configuration or integrated with dedicated Cognos planning, consolidation, analysis, and reporting products. Most of the times we talk about reporting products. Cognos planning, consolidation, and analysis are main 4 major concepts in this. Next we go into the TM1 capabilities. What TM1 can give you. If you see here, we can do the analysis geographically and through various applications wise. So the read and write at speed of thought for planning and budgeting. Most of the times it is used for planning. In one project which I worked on, we have given the budget 2010, where we have provided the initial budget, which we call as budget stage 1, preliminary budget, which we call as budget stage 2, and post preliminary budget, which we call as budget stage 3. Finally, after the figures are final through all the country users, we have supported for more than I believe 21 or 22 countries, and all the users have inputted the values for preliminary, post preliminary, and initial, of course, and finally we have copied that to final budget, which is called a budget number for 2011. So this is how it's going to be. And what if scenario for modeling the concepts of forecasting. Definitely this is more important. Forecasting is more important. As you know, there is a difference between a forecasting and budgeting, and it is very much discussed in this. And in-memory multi-dimensional cubes for analysis and reporting. As I told you, TM1 doesn't have any database. Like for example, if you take Cognos BI, Cognos BI must have either your SQL or IBM other various applications, databases, but I'm a DB2, my bad, I couldn't recollect immediately. So IBM DB2 or SQL Server or Microsoft SQL Server or something like that, or even your Microsoft, what do we call that? Microsoft, never used, in some time back I have used that. So Access database. I believe most of them have used this in a very long times, but now we are not using it. But I didn't use it, but maybe you must be using it. So there is no memory, there is no database. I mean to say there is no database involved in TM1. Everything is inbuilt. We have in-memory database. If I say a cube itself has got the data. Cube itself has got the data. So all the data values are residing in the cube itself. We have not got any database to connect in any database. That was the only main reason why it takes some time to load the data into the system, to bring it into the RAM memory and to load the database. Okay.